In the sweltering heat of July 1518, the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, witnessed one of the strangest and most chilling events ever recorded in history. It began quietly, almost innocently. A woman named Frau Trophäa stepped into the street and began to dance. She danced alone, then for hours, then for days. She didn't appear joyful. She wasn't performing. She simply couldn't stop. Within a week, more had joined her. A dozen, then dozens, and by the end of the month, over 400 people were caught in what appeared to be a frantic, involuntary dance. They twisted, turned, collapsed, and rose again, moved by a force no one understood. But this was no celebration. The dancers were in pain. They screamed for help. They pleaded to be released from whatever had seized them. Some collapsed from sheer exhaustion. Others died, struck down by heart attacks, strokes, or pure physical breakdown. What began as a strange episode had grown into a full-blown public health crisis. City officials were desperate. Physicians rejected the idea of supernatural possession. Instead, they blamed it on overheated blood. A natural illness, they claimed. And their cure? More dancing. They built stages, hired musicians, encouraged the victims to keep moving. But the madness only deepened. Theories and unanswered questions. Centuries later, historians still can't explain it. Some believe it was a case of mass hysteria brought on by a mix of stress, starvation, religious anxiety, and the sheer hopelessness of life in medieval Europe. Others suggest ergot poisoning, a toxic mold that grows on damp rye and causes hallucinations similar to LSD. A few believe it was a religious or spiritual phenomenon, a kind of psychological possession or ritualized behavior triggered by collective trauma. But no single theory fully explains it. What really happened? The truth may never be known. What we do know is this. In the summer of 1518, an entire community was swept into a terrifying mystery. People danced, not for joy, but for their lives. And more than 500 years later, the plague that made a city dance to its death remains one of history's most haunting enigmas. Untold era, because history isn't dead, it's just hidden.